Hey guys, welcome back to Cock and Load. On this week, me and Juice are going to talk about all the different types of holsters that are available out there on the market, what to look for when you're picking a holster, and what holsters me and Juice tend to go with. That was really hard to say. We didn't hit shit. Welcome to Cock and Load. All right guys, welcome to the studio. Me and Juice got this set up here at Fluvanna County Firearms, and I wanna give a big shout out to Callaway Ballistics. Like always, nothing would happen on this channel without the support of Callaway Ballistics. You guys can get 5% off all Callaway Ballistic products with code madminute. While we're on that topic, can you tell them about Infinity targets?
So also Infinite Defense targets is the targets that we use here at Fluvanna Firearms. One, they can just stay outside. They are able to take up to 110 weather resistant. All you do is spray paint it and go back to work. Stay weather resistant. All you do is spray paint it and go back to work and actually go to the range and qualify.
That's cool. So check out Infinite Defense and get 15% off with code Tac15 on all of Infinite Defense's Infinity targets.
Boom.
I feel like Elijah set me up with a tongue twister. It's intentional. Why is it an Infinity target and the company is named Infinite Defense? It's too many words. Okay, so when we're talking about holsters, obviously very popular on the market is leather holsters. So just to start the video, we're gonna address the fact one of the criteria that you should be looking for when you're picking a holster is to make sure that it completely covers your trigger guard and is hard enough that nothing can poke into the holster, make a dent into the holster and activate the trigger. By and large, leather holsters run the risk of doing that as they get older. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that have carried leather holsters for a very long time that are gonna disagree with me, but I have seen some like nightmare case leather holsters come into the shop that aren't doing anything anymore. And we both carry strictly appendix to where the gun is. There's no way to carry a gun that it doesn't point at you at some point. When you're carrying appendix, I mean, every time you sit down, it's pointing at yourself. I'm not risking that with a leather holster of any sort. Or any type of, let's see, what are other no-no holsters? Uncle Mike holsters, anything that's soft-sided, your holster has to be hard enough to not let anything get into that trigger guard. It's super, super important.
Especially for the females out there who are doing the concealed carry in their purses. They don't want to have some foreign object get into their trigger well, a P320 at that, and accidentally discharge inside of their purses and stuff like that.
Females actually a good point too, because they have those like belly bands now, where it's just like a stretchy belly band. Those kind of make me uncomfortable too, because it's the same problem. There's nothing. I was about to say you pick up a kid. Women do lots of other things than just carry babies around, but say you picked something up that hit you in, you know, where your trigger is with one of those belly bands on, there's nothing to protect the actual trigger on the gun. Yeah,
so the neoprene ones, I kind of stay away from.
I've seen some pretty slick ones though that have like a Velcro area and you can put a Kydex holster into the Velcro area. Those, again, Kydex is the answer.
Especially when, there's a video out of a guy in a Hardee's that had his gun in his pocket, an ND, and then just like, oh no, it was the other guy that just walked out. Really?
I have no clue. All right, so when we are looking at holsters, you have concealment holsters. So that would be inside the waistband, often referred to as IWB, or you have holsters that are more duty use, which are for outside of the waistband, and those are called OWB. So when we're looking at concealment holsters, there's gonna be I guess there's kind of three types of concealment holsters. You're gonna have a holster that is specifically just for the gun. You're gonna have a holster that is for the gun and the magazine. That would be like a unibody, like one piece design. You're gonna have some of these like this, which I would put as like the third category, where your ability to take your additional magazine carrier on and off the holster exists, or they've got a little bit of flexibility to them, like the Tier 1 holsters, this new Safariland holster. A little bit of flexibility gets pretty comfortable, it goes a long way.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite CCW holster?
So out of all of my CCW holsters, the most that I like is the Tier 1 concealment ones. Right now I'm doing the 6 hour P365 X Macro. it's just a phenomenal gun. 16 rounds plus 1 for a compact gun. You can't really beat that. And then if I do my P320, of course, I have another tier 1 Axis Elite, I think it is, concealed carry, appendix carry. So I have an extra mag with me as well because you need ammo in fights.
Yeah. I will say one of my favorite things about tier 1 concealed is the amount that all of their pieces parts jump between all their different holsters, and the amount of like, not necessarily customization that you can do, but like when you sit down on the holster builder on their website, you can get a holster that's set up exactly, not just for your gun type, but like your shooting style too. And that's super important to me. When you're looking at the ability to kind of have adjustability through your CCW holster, it matters a lot. One of my favorite concealed carry holsters is this little G-code holster, because it's amazing for like single stack. This is more realistic for what people carry around every day. I don't think most people are carrying full size Glock 17s in these T-Rex arms rigs. If you are, kudos to you. I feel you. But the average person's just carrying like a Glock 43X or a P365 or a Hellcat, something like that. These G-code holsters are awesome for that, but as far as modularity, very limited. You can adjust the clip kind of clockwise on the front to adjust the cant of the gun, and you can adjust this little claw to decide how much height you want on it. But I find with these, to get the height that I want to really dig into my belt well, I can't grip my gun well. So there's a little give and take there when it comes to the G-code holsters. But moving on from a single stack, I carried the T-Rex Arms sidecar for a really long time. One of my favorite things with Glock 19 holsters is that they'll run basically anything that's a Glock 19 variant, Shadow System, Zevtex, anything that's kind of based off that same model. You could run a 17, a 19, a 22. You can shove 45 models into them. You can shove long slide models into them. So you get yourself a CCW holster like the Safariland or the T-Rex Arms that's built for a Glock 19, and you can pretty much carry the entire Glock lineup. Some give and take there, 10 millimeters, tend to get a little fat. But other than that, I think probably my favorite one out right now is this new Safariland Incog X. Doesn't have quite the same amount of modularity that the tier 1s do, but it's just really comfortable. The way it's designed, it's just super comfortable. So I tend to cut this whole back strap, like sweat guard, off the back of mine, so it will probably get X-nayed here at some point, but.
I leave mine on,
I'm really digging this. The tier 1s are really awesome, but the flex is almost too much. This is some kind of happy medium where it gives me a little bit of flex, but I still get the magazine holster actually kind of pushes on my belt and helps hide the gun, just like the claw does on this side. So if you're gonna carry a semi-auto gun, I mean, if you're gonna carry any gun, you should carry extra ammunition. So even if you go with something like a G-code holster like this, there's some really awesome companies like Neomag that make a little magnet clip that goes in your pocket so you can carry a backup magazine. There's even companies like, you got a Neomag? Yep, here you go.
So this little clip just goes right on the magazine, and you can put it in your pocket so that ammo is facing towards your gut, or you can do it the other way, depending on if you're a commie or not. But America, we do it this way.
Bullets point towards the gun.
Yep.
Bullets point towards the gun.
But I like these. They're really nice to have, to be able to keep an extra spare mag with you, and concealed too, so nobody's really like, oh, well, there's his spare mags on the side of his belt. I wonder if he has a gun.
Carrying your ammunition should be concealed just like the firearm also. So, but a little Neomag usually just looks like a knife clip on the outside of your pocket. It's a very handy way of carrying additional ammo if you have a setup like this. So I would say that's CCW mags, or CCW holsters by and large. We'll get into some OWB stuff, and we'll start bottom end with level 1 retention. And this is a good opportunity to explain the different levels of retention too. So level 1 retention would be all of the holsters that we talked about so far, meaning that the retention that holds the gun in the holster is just the physical tension of how tight the holster is to the gun. That would be level 1 retention. Level 2 retention will be the tightness of the holster, as well as some sort of device that you have to activate to allow the gun out. And then level 3 would be an additional hood system that has to get defeated, then a button has to be depressed, and the physical hug. I don't know, the physical hug.
What is this? Give me a hug. Give me a hug, I need this.
So level 1, 2, and 3, I will say this, if you, I mean, it's shooter's preference, all this stuff is shooter's preference, but unless you work for an organization that has an SOP that you have to be level 3, dude, I don't want to die. That's too much stuff. Level 2 is more than enough to keep you from getting it out of my holster if we go hands-on with each other. Level 3, It's personal opinion, man. You guys can jump in the comment section and tell me how I'm dumb, but it's just too much stuff to get off the gun.
It's a double-edged sword, I think. Yeah, it keeps your gun in there, but it keeps your gun in there.
It keeps your gun in there.
G-Code also comes out with these belts or belt clips that you can put onto your belt, and then you just simply drop your pistol or magazines into them, and now you can have your OWB setup. So you could just have these just on your belt, and this, your gun could be in your man purse or whatever, and then if you need to go to work, you just put these on those little clips, and now you're outside the waistband and able to get to all of your gear.
It's also just nice if you have lots of different types of guns. I do the same thing with the Safariland QLS system. So I have the Safariland QLS system set up on the back of all my OWB stuff. It's just quick in and out of the Safariland belt, and it accomplishes the same thing, but what it allows me to do is have different types of holsters that I can easily change on and off my gun belt, or different holsters for different guns.
Yep.
But again, even with the Safari, I think this is a Safari, it's a 6360. Safariland, why the super complicated naming conventions, man? Can we just name it what it is? Anyways, these Safariland holsters are pretty good for modularity across different like Glocks and Smith & Wessons, but not anywhere near as good as just a regular Kydex like this. If you get a level 1 retention Kydex holster like this, you're gonna have a lot of modularity across kind of a manufacturer, whereas your level 3 stuff is much more tailored to the actual length of the barrel and some characteristics about each individual gun model, so you're gonna have a lot less modularity with a like a level 3 holster. Also, these level 3 holsters get pretty expensive.
Yep.
Safariland's what, like 200, 250, something like that?
This is about 160, somewhere around there.
Yeah, so they get pretty expensive. But other than that, that's just kind of a quick down and dirty on some of your different Kydex holster selections. Some of the ones that we tend to use, I really recommend G-Code, the new Safariland Incog-X, and the T-Rex Arms sidecar. I'm a big fan of those. I have not personally carried a tier 1 holster, so. Oh yeah, what is this super cool thing?
So I got this in the mail the other day because I've been seeing it a lot on Instagram. It's one of the leisure belts that it came out. So kind of tailored to people who wear sweatpants and shorts more often than they do wear actual pants with a belt.
That's racist. That's racist.
So I teach a lot of females classes. And so now I have to tailor myself on to think like a female.
That's gay? That's homophobic.
And how they're going to carry their weapons CCW, because most of their pants don't have belts. So
that's black. That's racist. Damn.
Yeah. This is something that I found so that I could test it out. So if I like it, I'll present it to my students and say, hey, this is a available option. So then you don't have to wear pants with a belt. You can wear those nice yoga pants. Yeah.
Nice yoga pants. He said them nice yoga pants. Team yoga pants.
Sound like Hodges twins right there.
That's a good cutaway. Also, a consideration when you're looking at some of these different types of holsters is whether or not you're going to carry a light on your gun. Definitely a good point of conversation that Juice just brought up, because if I'm running a light on my pistol, the retention of the holster oftentimes is built around the light, which means that an in the waistband holster like this that's built around your light choice actually gives you more modularity through the pistols the way that it's cut. So you might have to get stuck with a Streamlight TLR on all your guns, which is kind of what happened to me. I bought Streamlights and all my holsters fit Streamlights. Yep. But I can run Glocks, Smith & Wessons. I can shove all kinds of things in this holster because it's built around the light being the retention point, not the firearm. I will say though that if you're appendix carrying and you're carrying like a Surefire X300, which I see is super popular, that is crazy uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So it's, like we were saying, it's shooter's preference. So who said carrying a gun was comfortable?
Nobody.
You're making a personal decision to be a defender of yourself, your family, and people around you.
You're not going to be comfortable.
You're gonna be uncomfortable, man.
You shouldn't.
Not like crazy uncomfortable, but
you know.
This is in your pants. Thanks for tuning in to Cock and Butt.